Well, welcome. We're glad you're able to join us. I'm going to be talking with Brother Tim York tonight, the moderator of the National Association of Free Will Baptists. And we're going to try to give some information about what will happen with the National Convention this year. It's a different year, as you know, but we're going to carry on. We'll be having our business. So, Brother Tim, it's good to have you with us tonight. Why don't you share with our folks how we will be doing business this year?
Well, Brother Eddie, as you know, it's good to be with you. It's good, as you know, we're breaking 85 years of history. Never has happened before. Our forefathers, though, in putting together our documents, gave us Article 13 that allows us to still have a virtual convention almost with general board members only. And so our business this year will be like a general board meeting, but it'll also have a little bit of um, the feel of the national floor, almost like a hybrid will take place. Um, we've kind of thought through the process with the executive committee. And so basically, all the reports will be given, just like they would at a general board meeting. Um, there will be a motion and a second from the general board. Only the general board will be voting. And at the end of each report, we will take nominations for board members where there are vacancies that need to be filled. And we'll try to operate as much as we can, understanding we cannot change bylaws, we can't go against anything in the Constitution. We're not going to try to have anything radical take place, just try to get through the process so that we can continue the business. That's the spirit of Article 13, is so that the national work will go on if there was war, pestilence, or whatever that would stop us from being able to meet.
So folks can find the schedule at nafwb.org/national convention. And everything starts out Monday at 3 o'clock Central Time. The general board members are acting in the place of the national, but folks can still participate through those board members, can't they?
Yes, what we've tried to do is be as fair as we can. As you know, if you came to the national meeting on a campus in a convention center or hotel, everybody's welcome. They just can't vote. They can even speak. Well, there was no way to do that because of our social distancing, because of our numbers. So the executive committee came up with a plan where only general board members, in other words, uh, I'm a Tennessee pastor, so I would go through Chris Dodson, and he is my general board member. So if I had a question, I would send it to Chris, and he could then ask the question. If I have a nomination of somebody I want nominated on the floor for a certain position, I would give that to him. So we will have you represented. It just won't be in the same way it used to be.
And so, as of June the 8th, the digestive reports that people usually receive when they come to the National Association, they will be online. So, we encourage people to go ahead, go online, read those particular reports and look at them. And then what you're saying is if they've got a question or they have a nomination they wanted to make, they could do that through their particular general board member.
Yes. The reason we did that, so we can be really clear, is if you took general information, we have no way to verify where that information actually came from. Say a question came in on an email. That could be a religious editor from somewhere else that's not even connected to Free Will Baptists. So to represent our people, answer their questions, we felt the most safe way was the people who knew them from the States and for us to channel it through them.
But everybody, go ahead, Brother Tim.
And it's really the spirit of Article 13 anyway, is the general board doing the business.
And if you weren't, anyone that's ever not able to come to the convention can always watch the convention online. They'll still be able to watch the convention online. There will be a little difference this year with the business, though. Well, they're not.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of things we really need to talk about. One is we will not put the blank screen and go silent during the discussion. So whatever's said, everybody will hear as long as all technology works. We will have another aspect of that is, it'll be different in the sense that people will be able to do certain things, but only through general board members. And so we're just trying to find that happy medium. But I would say the most important thing to realize is we're just trying to do our best to keep it um, as much normal as possible, and yet carry out the business.
Okay. And so it's also important for folks to realize only general board members can attend.
Yes, those and the directors of the departments, the chairmen of the commissions, because they're not a part of the general board. And then also, we have said if there's room, uh, like the finance person from departments may want to come in and talk about the budget. But if we're in a tight spot, that individual may, because of numbers, may have to leave once that's completely done. Not all department and all the staff of the National Association will be there. It's something different than we've ever done before.
It'll be different. And so, really, people being able to look online, being able to participate through their general board members, it's a way for us to continue with the business of the National. It's a way to know where we stand, especially in the midst of COVID-19, how it's impacted our various agencies and the denomination, and keep the business going, really.
Yes, and what we've done with the agenda is we've given certain time frames for certain people, certain departments to give their reports, other than the commissions. And so, as the 8 departments give their reports, we'll have breaks in between for the general board. Plus, it gives folks at home who may want to have to do something, won't sit at their computer all day long, but would like to see a certain report, then they'll be able to do that. They'll know what time that's going to happen. Commissions, we will work them in throughout the day on Tuesday as best we can.
So it's important folks go online to NAFWB/convention, and you can see the schedule there. Starts at 3 o'clock on Monday and then really runs all day Tuesday. And what happens if the business doesn't get completed on Tuesday?
We would move to Wednesday. We hope not to do that. We believe we can finish it on Tuesday, but we will have certain committee reports coming back if we have long resolutions or something. We're not going to shortcut anything, but we're going to try to carry it out as best we can in the environment we have to work in.
And so,
can I say this?
Yes.
We don't want anybody cut out. We don't want anybody feeling like they didn't want me there. No, it's not that we don't want you there. It's just, as we talked about through the executive committee, it became very apparent. We had to limit who could be there, because if, say, 50 empty seats were there and 50 people could fill it, how about if you were the 51st person who drove all the way across the country to be there and you couldn't get in the door? It's the only fair way we know how to do this. And again, as I've said in my church, I've never pastored in a pandemic, and I don't think anybody's ever moderated out of a pandemic or been the executive secretary out of a pandemic or been the executive committee out of that situation.
It's all a new thing, and today we would not be able to do what we're going to try to do in July. So it truly is something that really does move. And I guess we should also make it clear to our listeners, we are in communication with the officials here, trying to make sure everything is to their liking. But we're bringing people from all over the country to one particular spot. They'll have to do the social distancing, and we have to be wherever we're at under that particular number. We should also mention, as of this moment, folks from Canada and Mexico are not able to attend. And so talk through that a little bit, Brother Tim.
We have set up a Zoom for our general board members so that they can Zoom in and be fully active within the meeting. From Canada, Mexico, there may be some other folks with health issues that just don't feel like they can travel, but they'd still like to participate in their roles as general board member, so they can use Zoom as well. And so what we'll do is use Zoom interactively as best we can. I'm sure there'll be some bumps, and it'll be, again, a little weird. I was on a round table with pastors across the country this morning, and the interesting thing was, no matter how professional they were, they still had issues. And so we're going to have issues, but we'll work through them, and just people have to be understanding this.
And I should also point out, we have the workshops that'll start on Monday morning that people can see some of the seminars from each of the particular agencies. Many of our folks are also speak Spanish, so we also have the Spanish site, and we're working on having their seminars and also having the business translated into Spanish as well. So we're, as you mentioned earlier, we're trying to do everything we can to involve as many people as possible and make it possible for people to safely participate. Is there anything else you think of we need to cover?
Well, I think we need to understand that when it comes to discussion, if you're going to have a question, get to your general board member early. I would, if I had a nomination, I'd be getting that to them early as well. Make sure you have their contact information. That would be at a state level, district level. Make sure you know their text, how to text them, how to email them quickly, and it'll be really important that they monitor that so their constituents will have a voice. And I really believe we can pull this off. Um, Far better than we could have 20 years ago because technologies give us an opportunity to do some things. We will be checking the quorum. We'll be checking the 2/3 vote. We'll be checking all those things to make sure everything is done so that when we get to 2021 in Memphis, we can report back to the body that we did the best we could with what we had. Yeah, and we will be electing board members. That's been a question that's come up. Um, it tells us to carry on the business. So it's really our obligation to do that as a general board. And so, Brother Eddie, for my 40 years in Free Will Baptist, the question has been over the last 30 years, why do we have a general board? Well, now we know. Our forefathers were brilliant and not just setting up a general board, but setting up Article 13, just some really neat things they've done for us.
That's good. So we can't stress enough. Go ahead and look at your digest, which will be online June the 8th. We really encourage you to also look who is my general board member representative. You can see that also at nafwb.org. Make contact with them early because they'll be traveling and that'll be a different way. So we do encourage people to make those steps, to take those actions early, and then go and watch online, and you'll learn some more when people give their reports in person. And pray for the services. So we've been tasked with the services those nights. So pray for us because that's a little bit of a different thing that we're doing here. And that's really it, isn't it, Brother Tim?
It really is. It's a general board meeting hybrid with a little bit of the national, and we'll pull off what the Lord guides us to do. And we got good general board members. This will work. It'll just take some patience and some time. And I appreciate your leadership, by the way. You've been very effective and extremely sensitive, and walked with us through some. For your first year, I hate it that we're not going to have a convention for you the first year, but I really appreciate the fact that you have been such a strong leader through this process.
Well, I appreciate that. I think Brother Keith is pretty happy in Oklahoma, and
Great.
and it is. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate the board. You guys have been helpful, and then everybody just working with us through all of this. So folks will bear with us, and I think we'll be able to get our business done. And our goal is to come out of this without losing any momentum, help our people through this crisis, and keep right on moving forward.
And Brother Eddie, if somebody has a question about business concerns, they're welcome to contact me. I'd be glad to. I've answered a lot of questions since this press release went out, but I'm glad to answer more if there's a question somebody has.
Excellent. And so, folks, you can actually type questions in here online. You could email us as well. You can always send email to questions@nafwb.org, and we'll do what we can to help out. But we really appreciate our folks, the good job they've been doing in this particular crisis, and we look forward to July. It'll be different, but we do think the Lord will work in it.
Amen.
Thank you, Brother Tim.
Thank you. Good to be with you today.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.